Patriots are with or without Cam, whether it's Mac or Cam, I don't think their projection for the season changes that much. I don't think they're as good as Buffalo. I think they are going to be fighting and clawing with Miami to be the second playoff team out of the AFC East. I know you don't love the early season projections, but I think the AFC North's going to have a couple playoff teams. You know, Baltimore, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, pick two of the three. I think the AFC West is going to have a couple playoff teams in Kansas City and the Chargers. And I think the AFC South likely only has one. So that leaves two for the AFC East. The question is, will it be New England or Miami, assuming Buffalo doesn't fall off the map? So I think that's their ceiling. I think their ceiling is, I want to say 10-6, but I guess in this 11-6, 10-7, you know, in that range, and being a good, very well coached, good defensive, average offense. I think average offense is probably the ceiling, even with all the additions. That's how I land on it. What say you, Coach?
Well, the whole situation, it was so interesting. The fact that they cut Cam obviously means that they didn't feel like he could be a viable backup in the sense. I don't think it was from a performance standpoint, but from a nurturing and supportive standpoint. And they wanted to make sure that they took away any of the potential conflict from Mac Jones. So that they go all in on that aspect. The division is interesting because it's all young quarterbacks. It's got to be one of the youngest group of quarterbacks in any division of all time. So that allows you some hope in starting a young quarterback that you're going to compete with the rest of the division. And then you've got such an experienced coaching staff, which to me gives you an edge. It's hard to project how he's going to do because when you look at the Giants game, he played as long as he did, but it was really against the twos, and he still got sacked 4 times. And that's the biggest fear with a guy like Mac Jones is his mobility, his ability to get out of trouble, especially when teams start lighting him up, which in that division, they will light you up. That's a division that's filled with blitz-happy defensive coordinators and competent pass rushers. So with Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or any of those guys that don't have that escapability, they're so good at recognizing what's coming that they're still able to get the ball off and not take those hits. Where a guy like Mac Jones, as smart as he may be and as much as he's grown, what you see in college football is radically different than what you see in pro football. The level of disguise is completely different than what you see in college football. And that's going to be a big transition. So I'd imagine they'll protect him for as long as they can. But with that being said, if you're spending that time protecting your quarterback, you're not really producing a lot of offensive firepower. So I see it as being limited in terms of how much they can expect from him early. And then it's a question of can they survive the early part of the season where he matures into the role as the starter.
I think, Coach, that they can be a wild card team. I tend to agree with Nick. Buffalo, I believe, wins that division, but they'll battle Miami and some other teams for one of those last playoff spots in the AFC. Remember, they've improved dramatically elsewhere. The defense, we know Belichick's going to have his defense together. You get Dante Hightower back after sitting out for COVID last year. Offensively, they added the 2 tight ends, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. They got one of the best offensive lines in the league. And Mac Jones, yes, he's going to have his ups and downs like any rookie, but I do think he's going to be solid. And I think, you know, their running game is going to be good. Damian Harris averaged 5 yards a carry last year without any real threat to throw the football. And so now that you can throw the football better, I think Harris is going to have a nice little year. They obviously added some receivers as well. So I do think they are a real threat to make it to the playoffs. A lot of times we look at a rookie quarterback, Wilds, and we don't think he's going to have success because they tend not to. But we do go back to Ben Roethlisberger, 13-0 in Pittsburgh as a rookie, got that team to the AFC title game. So I'm not saying they go that far. No, don't get me wrong. But I do think that this could be a playoff team with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be a playoff team. So, like Broussard said, Big Ben won 13 games, went to the AFC title game. Joe Flacco won 11 games, went to the AFC title game, lost. All Mac Jones needs to do is be as good as Joe Flacco. Do I think he can do that? Yeah, I do. And guess who else we have here? We're going to bring somebody in who won a Super Bowl with a young quarterback because the defense did the job. Oh, it's Coach Mangini. What a wonderful, wonderful addition to the show. Coach, don't you think that Belichick and that defense can carry an inexperienced, young, limited quarterback who maybe throws for, averages under 200 yards a game, just like Tom Brady did, with a few breaks here and there, some of the Patriots' magic can get us deep into the playoffs?
Well, here's what I'll say is that young quarterback was Tom Brady, and if Mac Jones is Tom Brady, then sure. But when you look at the track record, the last starting quarterback that Bill had was a rookie was Eric Zier back in 1995 in Cleveland, and he was 1-3. They've drafted 11 quarterbacks. I guess Jimmy Garoppolo's the best quarterback of that group that they drafted, and he didn't really start until year 4 or 5, so he had a ton of experience. And then you've got Matt Castle
for cheating.
Matt Castle was another guy that didn't start till later on, and even Tom Brady didn't start his rookie year. He had a year to sit behind Drew Bledsoe and really learn. So this is uncharted waters outside of the Eric Zier experiment in terms of how well a rookie can play in that system, which is extremely demanding intellectually against a division that's going to put challenges in that are different than a lot of teams. And the track record of 11 quarterbacks drafted, it's not one that, because there was 20 years to replace Tom Brady. So it's not a track record that you look at and go, okay, well they're nailing it. And even when we drafted Tom, we drafted him in the 6th round and kind of won the football lottery there. So there's a lot to be encouraged by from where he is intellectually, the fit of the system. But a young guy, they'll do a great job of protecting him. But it's still 4 sacks against the Giants' backup defense in a preseason game scares you.
And listen, Broussard, the fact that we're all saying they can compete for the playoffs is the ultimate measure of respect being given to Bill Belichick. Because I know they spent a ton of money this offseason, but they still have a wide receiver room that is Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, and N'Keal Harry, who wanted out of there. We are all saying the defense will be outstanding. Well, their best defensive player is hurt in Stephon Gilmore, right? Like we are, and they are starting a rookie quarterback. Any other team starting a mid-first round rookie with that wide receiver room that was below 500 the previous year, we would not be saying, well, there you go. You know what I mean? 10, 11 wins competing. It is because, and by the way, he has obviously earned it. But it is the ultimate amount of deference being given. We are even having this discussion.
I'm with you, Nick, and I've said many times that Belichick's the greatest coach in NFL history. But the facts are the facts. He has played 8 seasons or coached 8 seasons without Tom Brady. He's made the playoffs once. All right, there's a chip on his shoulder. It's the truth. It is the truth. The Brady or Belichick, who was more responsible argument is done, Wilds. It's over. All right, it's Brady. And that's not to say Belichick's not great, but I am here to say it's a what have you done for me lately world. All right, bring out Janet Jackson. That's what it is. And Belichick's got a chip on his shoulder. Her out. And I believe he's got.
That sounds like a great idea.
He's got to. People are watching him. And look, you don't think he knows?